She said, "We're just friends," but I saw her sending him heartfelt texts under my nose. I stood frozen in the doorway of the living room, my heart pounding so hard I thought it might explode. The screen of her phone was still glowing in front of her, even though she quickly tried to lock it when she saw me standing there. But I had already seen enough. I'd seen all of it. There, in her conversation with him, her friend, were messages that made my stomach churn. "I miss you so much," one said. "I can't stop thinking about you," another. I didn't know what hurt more, the words themselves or the fact that she thought I wouldn't notice. Julie looked up at me, her face going pale as she quickly shoved the phone in her pocket, but I wasn't fooled. The color drained from her cheeks, and I could see the panic in her eyes. My voice came out low and cold, even though everything inside me was screaming. "You said it was nothing. You said you and Tom are just friends. So what's all this?" I waved toward the phone she had just hidden, but I didn't need to say anything else. Her silence was enough. Her lips trembled, and she opened her mouth to say something, but no words came out at first. The air between us felt suffocating, thick with unspoken truths. I waited, my pulse hammering in my ears, each second stretching longer than the last. "I can explain," she finally said, her voice weak, pleading, but I didn't want to hear any explanations right then. I didn't want her to tell me I was overreacting. I didn't want to hear that it was a mistake or a misunderstanding, because it wasn't. It was right there in black and white. I felt a strange, cold numbness starting to spread through my chest, like all the warmth had been drained out of me. "You're overreacting, Jason. It's not what you think. It's just—" She stopped herself, then looked at the floor like she couldn't bear to meet my eyes. "It's just a friendship. Please, you have to trust me." I laughed, but it wasn't a real laugh. It was hollow, bitter. "Trust you? After seeing that? How am I supposed to trust you now, Julie?" I could feel my hands shaking as I clenched them into fists at my sides. I wanted to shout. I wanted to throw her phone at the wall, but I didn't. Instead, I stood there, struggling to keep my voice steady, forcing myself to breathe. I tried to swallow the lump in my throat, but it wouldn't go away. I'd always considered myself a reasonable person, someone who didn't jump to conclusions. But now, I didn't know what was real anymore. I didn't know what was a lie. Julie took a deep breath, her eyes darting nervously to the floor and back up to me. She knew she had messed up, but was she sorry? Or was she just sorry she'd been caught? "Jace, please," she said, her voice desperate now. "I never meant to hurt you. I swear. You know how much you mean to me. She paused, biting her lip, almost like she was trying to hold back tears. It's complicated. I felt like I was suffocating, and I wanted to step away, to put some space between us, but I couldn't move. My body was stuck to the spot, paralyzed by this overwhelming mix of anger, confusion, and fear. Fear that I was losing her. Fear that I might never get the truth, that the trust we had built over the years had been shattered. She stepped forward, but I didn't let her come any closer. "No," I said, shaking my head. "I can't just pretend everything's fine, Julie. I saw the messages. How long has this been going on? How long have you been lying to me?" The words hit her like a slap, and she winced, taking a step back. But she didn't answer right away, which only made everything worse. How long? That was the question I needed answered. The silence stretched between us, thick with unspoken tension. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, Julie opened her mouth. "It's not like that, Jason. It's just things with you and me have been off for a while now. And Tom, he's been there for me in ways that you haven't been." The words felt like a punch to my gut. I had always known things hadn't been perfect. We'd been struggling, sure. The past few months had been harder than usual. Long work hours for both of us, hardly any time for us as a couple. But hearing her admit that she had turned to someone else, someone who wasn't me, felt like a betrayal I couldn't even put into words. My throat tightened, and I struggled to find a response. "So what? You just checked out of our marriage?" Without saying anything? Without trying to work through it? Her eyes filled with guilt, but there was something else too, something I couldn't quite place. "I never meant for it to happen this way. I didn't know how to talk to you about it. I thought maybe if I could just find some space, things would get better. But I didn't want to hurt you. I never wanted to hurt you. but I wasn't sure I could believe her anymore. The damage had been done. Trust was something that, once broken, didn't heal easily. How was I supposed to look at her the same way again? How could I ever look at Tom the same way? How many lies had I missed? How many other times had she hidden things from me, thinking I wouldn't notice? I ran a hand through my hair in frustration, pacing back and forth. How long, Julie? How long has this been going on? Her shoulders slumped as if she were defeated. She hesitated again, as if weighing whether to tell me the truth or to try to cover it up. A couple of months, maybe longer, but nothing physical ever happened. I swear, Jason, it's not like that. It's just emotional, okay? I just needed someone to talk to. Someone who understood. I felt dizzy. It was all too much. I couldn't process it fast enough, and every part of me felt like it was breaking apart. I couldn't even look at her anymore. I needed air. I needed space. I needed answers. I turned and walked toward the door, pulling on my jacket. I need to get out of here. I can't talk about this right now. Jason, please. Her voice broke, and I heard her take a step toward me, but I didn't turn around. I couldn't. I had to get away. I had to think. The thought of sitting here in this house we'd built together, pretending everything was fine while this secret had been eating away at us for God knows how long, made my skin crawl. I'll be back later, I said over my shoulder, even though I wasn't sure if I even meant it. And with that, I walked out the door, leaving her standing there, her face pale and stricken. I had no idea what I was going to do next, but one thing was clear. Things between us would never be the same. Part 2. I drove for a while, just letting the road stretch out in front of me, not sure where I was going. My hands were gripping the steering wheel so tight that my knuckles ached, but I didn't care. I couldn't go back home yet. Not like this. I couldn't look at Julie, not after everything she'd said. And I definitely couldn't look at myself in the mirror and pretend like everything was fine. I parked at a diner on the edge of town, one of those places that's mostly empty except for the occasional trucker or night owl. I sat in a booth near the back, staring at the half-full cup of coffee in front of me, letting the minutes tick by in silence. I felt like my whole world had just shifted on its axis, and I didn't know how to make sense of it. My phone buzzed on the table. Julie. I stared at it for a moment, not sure whether to pick it up or toss it across the room. But I had to know. I needed to hear her side of it. One last time, or maybe to get some sort of closure, even if I wasn't sure what that would look like. I didn't know if I wanted to fix things or just walk away. Maybe a part of me wanted her to say something, to give me some reason to believe her, something that would make all of this make sense again. But deep down, I already knew. I unlocked my phone and read her text. It was simple, almost like she was trying to sound casual about it. Jace, I'm sorry for everything. Can we talk when you're ready? I love you. Please don't do anything rash. I stared at the words, feeling numb. Love. That word. It felt empty now, like it had lost its meaning, like it had been thrown around carelessly. If she loved me, why'd she let it get this far? If she loved me, why hadn't she told me sooner? Why hadn't she been open about what was going on? I wanted to respond. I wanted to tell her that I didn't know how to feel anymore, that I didn't even know who she was anymore. But instead, I put the phone face down on the table and stared out the window at the empty parking lot. The night was quiet, almost too quiet. I wanted to scream, but I didn't. I just felt lost. When I finally got back home a couple of hours later, the house felt empty in a way that it never had before. The air inside felt thick, oppressive, like something was hanging over us, just waiting to fall. Julie was sitting on the couch when I walked in, her eyes red and puffy, like she'd been crying for a while. The sight of her hurt more than I expected. I didn't want to feel sorry for her. Not yet. Not after everything. But I couldn't help it. I'm sorry, Jace, she said quietly, not looking up at me. I should have told you everything. I should have been honest from the start. You deserve better than this. I know I've messed up, but please just talk to me. Don't shut me out. I stood in the doorway for a moment, just looking at her. The woman I had spent the last 6 years of my life with. The woman I had trusted, loved. The woman who now seemed like a stranger. She was right there, but she felt so far away. I don't even know where to start, I said, my voice coming out raw, hoarse. I felt like I had to force the words through a tight throat. I don't know what to say to you right now, Julie. I don't know what you want from me. You've been texting him, telling him you miss him, and I don't know what to do with that. I don't know who you are anymore." She looked up at me then, and for a moment I saw that same person I had fallen in love with all those years ago. But it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough to make the hurt go away. "I don't want to lose you, Jace," she whispered. "I know I've made a huge mistake. But please, don't let this end. We can fix this. We can work through it." I shook my head, stepping farther into the living room. I felt like I was suffocating. Fix this. Could we? Or had we just crossed some invisible line that couldn't be uncrossed? I wasn't sure anymore. I wasn't sure what I wanted. "You keep saying you didn't mean to hurt me. But that's the thing, Julie, you did. You did hurt me. And now I don't know if I can trust you again. I don't know if I want to trust you again." She winced, the words hitting her harder than I think she expected. Her hands were trembling as she folded them in her lap, trying to keep herself together. "I never wanted to hurt you. I swear. I was just confused. It was stupid. I shouldn't have let it go this far. I should have talked to you. I should have told you the truth. But I was scared. I didn't know how." I took a deep breath, trying to steady myself. I didn't know if I could keep hearing these apologies and promises. It didn't feel like enough. It felt like too little, too late. Scared of what? Scared of me? I didn't mean to sound accusatory, but I couldn't help it. "You've been hiding this from me for months. And for what? To protect me from the truth." Julie stood up then, slowly, like every movement was carefully measured. "No, I wasn't trying to protect you. I was trying to protect us. I didn't want to hurt you. I didn't want to destroy everything we had. I thought I could figure out on my own, but I can't. I need you, Jace. I need us." I felt my chest tighten, but I couldn't let myself soften. Not yet. Not until I knew for sure if this was something we could even fix. "I don't know, Julie. I don't know if I can believe you. I don't know if I can go back to how it was." "I don't want to go back," she said quickly, stepping toward me. "I just want us to move forward. I want us to heal together." I wanted to believe her. I really did. But how could I? How could I trust that she wasn't just saying what I wanted to hear, what we both wanted to hear, just to fix things for now? My whole world felt like it was unraveling, and I wasn't sure if I was ready to stitch it back together yet. "Maybe we need time," I said, more to myself than to her. "Maybe I need time to think about all of this." Julie's face crumpled, her eyes filling with tears. "Please, Jace. I'll do whatever it takes. Please don't leave me." I didn't answer her right away. I couldn't. The truth was, I didn't know if I could stay, but I also didn't know if I could walk away. The only thing I was sure of was that I didn't have the answers, and right now, I didn't know where to find them.